Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Sports Talk. We're going to be talking about the game that just occurred about a few hours ago, which was last night, which was kind of rained out. Didn't really, was not supposed to rain. As far as I know, it was supposed to be clear skies in Philadelphia against the Cowboys. It was but Philadelphia won 24-20. And apparently, the reason why it was a close game. And the only thing about it is that the Eagles' offensive line, I think it was, got into a fight with Dallas Cowboys. He got ejected from the game. Apparently, he's going to answer to, I can't remember the actual guy's name. He got ejected. But he's going to have to answer to the bosses. He's going to have to answer to the coach, make sure it doesn't go in front of the GM or the owner. So he's going to have to answer to the coach. But they might give him a second chance, Let's say if the coach says, if we are going to do that again, please do not do that again, or we'll fine you. Now, it was a very close game, the first round. It got rained out during the third quarter, apparently. Wasn't supposed to last that long, and it was a pretty close game. I mean, I think Philadelphia was up 15 points, apparently, before it rained out, but then Dallas Cowboys comes back to doing this thing, and Dallas did pretty good, too. I mean, they did very good teams, but Philadelphia comes with their first win and the first opener of football. Now, I can see it, though, but to where... But 24-20, that's a very close game for Philly versus Cowboys game. I mean, that is very close. I mean, these are two teams that don't like each other. I mean, they're not methodical, but ridiculously close of not liking. And I think it's very interesting. But no, I figured it would be a close game. But if the game didn't get rained out, I think Philadelphia would have scored more. Minus the rain delay that took at least an hour, maybe two of the game. I had to record this video. It was kind of pathetic, but I'm doing it now. And it's now 10:31 in the morning. I'm recording this. And but no, if it didn't get rained out last night, I would have recorded this sooner, but it was like, it took that long because God wanted the rain, Mother Nature needed the rain, it was like, screw what my kids want. You want the rain? We'll give you the rain. That's what God said to Mother Nature, it doesn't matter. That got rained out, screw what my kids want. I'm going to give you rain, And I think, but the law hasn't passed with all teams being in domes, because that would be, because I remember watching one guy that was watching the game. He was a Philadelphia's fan. He says all games should be in domes, but I agree with him to a certain degree, but I'm not subscribed to his channel also, but there's one thing about it that I don't agree with, is that everything should be in domes. It's just hampering. But no, Dallas lost 20-24 against Philly, and I kind of watched the whole game, apparently. Minus this rain out. That was supposed to happen. And they did good overall. But when it comes to that, it was very, very good, And then generalized fashion, it was a very good game, minus the rain out. Delayed it for about uh, uh, t- t- uh, for about 2 hours. I would say about 2 hours, at least 2 hours. It rained out. That's what the game lasted so long. Now these guys got a bye week. Apparently, well, they got rested up, day off, until they get back in the previous week. So it's pretty interesting to say the least that they did pretty good, for the most part, you know. And yeah, I mean, Philly won their first game. That's all that matters. But it really depends on what they can do. For the next couple of weeks of the games, they got a pretty busy schedule, but they do get a bye week. So they got to rest up for the next couple of weeks. I mean, they're not facing right now. I mean, they did a hard fought game. So Dallas and Philly do have a rest week after a long night being rained out. It wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to rain. Um, so I kind of borrowed my aunt's phone, looked at the radar, and it looked like there was a couple of storms headed their way, but it could have passed. It didn't. So it was like, why? Why have all this time taken to played? And I heard one guy that's a football fan fanatic. He's thinking about all teams to go to a dome. A lot of teams don't agree with the dome. They prefer having a stadium, even if a lot of the owners would be against it rather than else thinking about pushing it. I heard rumors that they might do domes to where they play more longer games where it doesn't waste any time, but with the rain out and everything. But I heard it really didn't pass, so it was like, I heard it was one of the meetings they had on the off season for owners and GMs and the commissioner to start working on stadiums with domes, and apparently that hasn't passed. I heard something about they had a meeting about that, and it never passed for that season. Maybe in the next 2 seasons, maybe they made a deal for the next 2 seasons to make a dome for each game, but a deal like that ain't gonna pass if they have another meeting like that. You know, there's some amplification to that. And as I look at this game here, the first game, even if they got rained out, they both play their hearts out. Now you have one Philadelphian player, a guy rejected from the game for spitting in a face of another player. And I think it was Philadelphia versus, I think it was I believe it was a Philadelphian player that spit in the Dallas Cowboys' face. And you can't have that. And I don't know what they're going to do with him. Put him on leave with pay, or suspension with pay. He might still get paid, but that's up to the GM and the owner. And but you can't have that in football. I know Dallas Cowboys and Philly hate each other, but you can't really have that. It's pretty ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. Why? Why would you do that? So I think it would be up to mostly the GM, mostly the owner, to make that call. What they're going to do with him. I would say he's going to get a fine. Second time, he might get a suspension. So the second time, he might get a suspension. First one, he's going to get fined. Second one, he's going to get a suspension, which if he does it again. But that's up to the GM and the owner's decision. And whatever they do to him, he might still be able to play the following second week. But I doubt they will be able to do something. They'll do something about his attitude. They'll correct it. Like if you get like an older right hand man of an owner, let's say he's like about 40, 41 years old, saying, "Look, son, don't do that again, or we'll fine you about $3.5 million for spit on somebody." And that's not my call. It's Commissioner Roger Goodell's call. They'll probably warn him about it. But that's mostly the Philadelphia and the commissioners, mostly the ownership of the Philadelphians and the ownership of Roger Goodell to make that decision. So, time will tell. But the next couple of games that Dallas and Philly will have, they're going to have some hard times. But now, if that rain out, it was... I kind of watched the whole game by flipping through other YouTube channels to look at the least that they did. They did good, for the most part. But now, the next couple of games for Dallas and Philly, they're going to have their hands full. They got a bye week, which is not that bad, so they got a little bit of rest up after tonight. It wasn't supposed to rain, apparently. Weather was clean, weather was clear. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. It really wasn't. So, the next couple of games they're going to have to do, they're going to have to work. So, let's say if Dallas faces Denver Broncos in week 3, that's going to be a little problem there. But no, that's about it. But that's all I want to discuss with you guys today is the win between Dallas and Philly. Philly won 24-20. So, let me know in the comments down below what you think about the penalty when the player spit on Dallas Cowboys fan, with Dallas Cowboys player. I didn't mean to say fan, but I'm trying to get into this. You think it was right? You think it was wrong? Let me know. So until next time, John will sign off. Take care. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day.